immense. You know what? Let me link to the main page there real quick for people that just want to go check the whole thing out. Let me see. I'm just going to post it in the chat window there. There you go, guys. And let me see if I can track this down.
So while he's tracking that down, we are going to be going into another tactical battle here, finally. And these Warg Riders, who were hard for one of my units, well, I brought his friends, so we'll see how this goes. The Matrix, thank you so much for following. And everybody I've missed, there have been a lot of follows. Thank you guys so much. So that link there will take you to the wiki for this game.
Yeah. And I've also posted the link for the potential spell list. And because it's rather complex. If you look at I'll just step through it. I mean, that really, if you're really interested, you need to go look at the wiki because it's a complex subject. But basically, if you take a single rank in a spell circle, you take one tier of fire, okay, you will get in your potential spell list 6 of the 12 tier 1 fire spells. Okay, so and those are random. It's going to grab them randomly.
Gotcha.
Now, when you go to the start screen where you pick those, you get a number of starting spells that you get to pick. Those you've got more control over, and so you can go, okay, well, I've only got one tier of fire, but I know I want flame arrow. Okay, pick it. It won't be in your potential spell list, but you'll already have it.
Okay.
And we have a chart because it's, like I said, on paper it's complicated. When you're actually in the game and you've tinkered around with it a little bit, it's very, very intuitive, and you'll be able to figure out very quickly, okay, well, if I do this setup, then my odds of getting this particular spell are really, really good. And if you've got a spell that your entire strategy hangs on, which keep in mind there are more than 400 spells in the game.
Oh, I go through units like nobody's business. So that Raise Militia spell is super good for me.
Yes, and that's another thing that I think is really interesting about it. It's one of the aspects of the game that I really love personally, and that is that there's so much room between, the starting race selection, which that's just the one you start with, but the starting race selection, the settings for your Sorcerer Lord with regard to the spell circles and the disciplines you make, that everybody can put together. Everybody's going to have their own set of favorite builds. And, we're going to have people getting on forums arguing about what is the ultimate Sorcerer Lord build.
Well,
and I think that's neat because, it underlines the fact that there's a lot of diversity and that your choices from the very beginning really matter. One of my personal favorite builds is I'll get like 4 points in life, 4 points in earth, 2 in augmentation, and 2 in defense.
Sure.
And it gives me I'm able to pick city buffs from the very beginning. I can pick fertile soil and tranquility. As soon as I've got the mana, saved up, I cast tranquility on my starting city so that I can up my taxes.
Very cool.
What I'm basically doing is trading a little bit of mana for a higher amount of gold, and then and also with earth you can get mineral attunement in there, so you can get a 25% production bonus. There you go, great harvest.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so, things like that, it allows you to get in and you can explore these different strategies. And there are so many spells, dude. You will be playing for a long, long time before you've tried all of them. And outside the circles, I should have mentioned this back when we were talking about the spell circles. We've got arcane spells that is just a small set of basically must-have. If we had sorted them into a particular school, it will dispel magic. You can't just stick that in a particular circle.
Yeah,
it gives that circle too much power. And so arcane magic represents the old magic. It's magic anybody can get access to potentially. So.
I should have dug into that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they're not in the game yet, so don't.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
perfect.
and they'll be everyone. It doesn't matter what if you built a Sorcerer Lord that had all disciplines, no spell circles, which you can do. You would still get the arcane spells. So it's a very short list of spells that we consider must-haves.
So now there's an interesting question from DRSZXN. I have no idea how to pronounce that, and I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know, right? So he asked, if you find too many people favoring a build, are there plans on nerfing that to build forced diversification? And I want to expand that question. What are your plans for development post version 1.0? Are you planning major content releases? Are you going to be rebalancing? Are there plans for DLC? What are you guys doing after this?
Sure. First of all, no, we're not going to. We have no plans to change a build based on whether or not people favor it. If it's very obvious that we have made a numeric mistake, that destruction masters always win the game, that represents a mistake. Okay.
Sure.
We made the spells too powerful. Right now, actually, destruction is one. We've got it. I've been playing a destruction master because someone said it's very difficult to do successfully.
Okay.
And yes, we've actually got to put more damage dice in the destruction spells. But that's the thing. If we find out that it's a matter of we made a mistake, then yes, we will change that. And I want to say this: our approach to balance is to provide an interesting and flavorful game, not to pasteurize all the flavor out of it and make equality. We're not aiming for similarity. We're aiming for, it's basically balanced. I mean, it's if this is your play style, you're going to favor this build. If this is your play style, you're going to favor that build. And it's not like, well, just take Destruction Master and you'll always win the game. So, cool. The fact, if everybody turns out that our summoning spells are just so awesome, everybody wants to be a summoner. Hey, look, dude, you bought the game. Play it how you want. We're not going to nerf the summons just because everybody likes that. Nice. Now, moving on to the next part of the question.
Sure.
I have been describing what we want Worlds of Magic to be from the very beginning as a living game. Okay, this is not 1994 anymore.
Right.
like you mentioned with the early access, when we roll out a patch, this is a beautiful thing. There's actually a beta opt-in that usually rolls out on Thursday. If you've opted to get the beta version, then you get the newest build Thursday, which almost certainly has some bugs in it that you can report before Friday when we roll out the stable build. But those updates are all automatic.
Okay. Cool.
Post-release, we are almost certainly going to be flooded with many tens of thousands of players more than we have right now. And if we find holes where this unit is underpowered or overpowered, or this needs a tweak here or a tweak there, we're going to make those tweaks, and they'll all be patched and rolled out and updated. Obviously, we're going to continue to fix bugs and things of that nature. We are also planning on DLC/expansion. What form that is going to take exactly? I can't say right now. My gut instinct is that we're going to try and do, well, actually, I can't even give you a timetable. I will say this: we plan to do a number of expansions over the lifetime of the game, which will be determined by fan interest and a number of other factors.
Sure.
But we want the game to be a living game up until I won't get into it. We're getting too far out in the future. The point is, it's going to be a living game that we're going to maintain and add to. There are a lot of things that people want to see that we just cannot fit in the base game. The base game is massive.
Right.
And, there are mechanics that people are interested in. I mean, the perfect example is what we've already talked about, where, what about, kingdom borders, where cities are able to expand due to population growth, or buildings that are built that expand a city's sphere of influence, that changes the dynamic for city spamming. Yeah, certainly. We see that as a valid thing we might want to look into in the future. Anything that changes core mechanics or the way the game works, that's going to be, we're going to put that together as an expansion.
Gotcha.
And basically, mainly that's going to be an addition rather than, us going and change back some mechanic that you've grown to, that you've come to love and depend on. We're not just going to be changing that arbitrarily. It'll be like, okay, well, another thing that has been mentioned, and some people will love this, others will hate it, is an optional world feature type, which will be a procedurally generated dungeon. that can only be interacted with using heroes. So when you found one of these world features, if you interact with it, it doesn't just take you to a tactical battle board. It actually takes you to a sort of dungeon crawling thing where you move through with your heroes to collect as much loot as possible.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I think I would like that myself. Yes, there's a delay here, and I'm just now seeing that you've got 5 rebels in your city there.
Yeah, I got an eclipse, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, we've.
I'm a little stuck on that.
We're supposed to have a meeting tomorrow. That's coming up because I had an eclipse that was stuck for about 20 turns today.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Oh yeah.
And then of course enemies arrive on the horizon. Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, I have a settler going to build a new city right now, because I might be losing my existing one.
This is the beauty of early access. You can get on the forums and scream at the top of your lungs that the solar eclipse lasts too long. And we'll be like, okay, we'll look into that.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It can't just be me. I thought maybe I've been on a run of bad luck here lately where I get these terrible world events every time I start a new game, but it seems to be happening to you too. So,
yeah, no.
Either way,
I've had a couple of good ones too. Now, Sonato44. First off, I want to reiterate something Hypersomnic said. First off, Hyper, thank you for hosting me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are great. And anyone here, check the links down below. Hypersomnic is another fantastic streamer. But definitely hit the follow button for me. I love seeing you guys. Thank you for showing up. And then Sonato had a couple of questions. What console specifically are you looking at releasing on? Is it primarily next gen, or what are you guys doing there?
I can't say. So, sorry. Yeah. Really, I mean, like I said, the one I can tell you about is the PlayStation 4. That's it's close enough along that I feel okay mentioning it. Whether or not I was supposed to. I feel very confident about it. I mean, you know, use your imagination. I mean, we're trying to offer it on as many platforms as we can. I'll just say that. That's, you know, we want as many people to be able to play it their way as is possible. So.
Yeah, we have a couple of requests.
Sure.
So the question is there going to be different scumbag ways to play, like stealing resources from another player without them knowing, and blaming it on another faction? So what I extract from that is Civilization has a great espionage system. Is there going to be anything like that in this game?
Not in the base game. Here again, this is an excellent reason. With what we're doing with Worlds of Magic, it's not just a matter of going out and buying a game. If you're interested in that and seeing something like that develop and evolve, get involved. Join our forums. Start talking. We listen. We interact. And, you know, the idea is an interesting one. And it's the kind of thing that we could look at in the future. Right now, no. The bad things that you can do are very direct, hammer in the face type things, where you are going to you can cast curses on other Sorcerer Lords' cities. You can cast curses on other Sorcerer Lords directly. You can do things that are just very overtly nasty. But there's no sneaky, conniving way to lead to nastiness, really.
Very cool.
You know, but like I said, this is why, you know, all you got to do, sign up for our forums, and you can just post a general post saying, hey, how do these devs act about getting feedback from their fan base? And many fans will just jump in to tell you that we're constantly listening, because we really are constantly listening.
Right.
And that's an interesting idea. It's just, there's only so much room in the base game, and it is filled to bursting. The base game is packed until it is bulging. So that's not going to happen.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so the game's random features on the map seem very dense. There's like a lot of things to go explore with your units. Almost to the point that it feels like a complete RPG experience with your units, instead of or in addition to a 4X. Is this like intentional, or was this like an unexpected happy thing? What are your thoughts on that?
half and half, really. I mean,
okay.
Because what we wanted to do is we when we laid out, and this is as a community, by the way, this is one of the areas where, okay, my original vision for the game was we're going to have world features spread across the world, just like Master of Magic did. And so we opened it up to the community. What do we want to do?